week one of the fantasy football season's finally here. And here's a few defenses I would start this week. The first team's New England Patriots. So the Patriots here, they rebuilt it a lot this offseason on the offense and the defensive side of things. And I'm going to be honest here, besides the Buffalo Bills in this division, there's not good offenses. I don't think Miami's offense is that great. And this is the opponent they verse here this week. I think Bill Belichick's plan is going to be to see to with Tyler Voglia, try to beat him with a lot of pass rushes, a lot of edge corner rushes, even safety and corner blitz in this ball game. And I think Bill Belichick and the Pats are going to have a good game and a good game plan. And I like the matchup a lot versus this Miami team this week here. They want to get off to a good start. It's a new generation and era over there in New England. And right here, it's a home game as well in Gillette Stadium. So right now, the Pats, they're going to try to tee off and get to Tua early and often in this game and make them try to come from behind in this game, even though there's no Tom Brady, obviously, anymore in New England. I think Mac Jones could be decent. But anyway, this New England defense, I could see him getting 3 or 4 sacks in this ball game and creating a few turnovers and even holding this Miami Dolphin offense down to only 17 to 21 point range in this game where they could score double-digit fantasy points. So I like the matchup. I like how Belichick is versus young quarterbacks, especially at home, the way he runs this defense. And I think this defense has a good ball game this week. And is a defense I definitely would start this week in week one. The next defense, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, they play on Monday Night Football at the Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders, they don't have many options at the wide receiver position right now. And I think that's going to be a problem, even though I know Darren Waller's a great tight end and can make plays. And I know they got two pretty solid running backs in Josh Jacobs, obviously, and Kenyon Drake, who came over in the offseason in free agency. But Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs are the wide receivers over there for this Raider team. And I don't think they're going to do much. This Raven team, they're hungry as well. And they want to get off to a quick start in a national televised game. We saw this Raven team late last season get things going and play good defense. And I think once again in this game on Monday Night Football, they're going to play strong. They're going to play tough. They're going to get to Derek Carr in this one and make a few plays where I could see them even finding the end zone on a pick six or something. And they're one of the highly rated defenses coming into the fantasy football season. And I see them once again having a good ball game. The next defense I would start this week's the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars here in week one make a trip to Houston to versus the Texans. And we know Deshaun Watson, he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be the starter. And Tyrod Taylor's the starter over there in Houston. And Houston, they don't have many options on that offense besides Brandon Cooks, David Johnson, and Phillip Lindsay over there. But pretty much they don't got many other options on the roster like I mentioned. A lot of no-name guys, a lot of young guys, or even journeymen who aren't going to really make an impact. And right here, this Jacksonville defense, they were a middle-of-the-pack defense last season. And right here, they didn't get drafted in many fantasy leagues this year. They're available in 96% of fantasy leagues. So right here, if you just want a fill-in defense for the week here, I think it's a perfect pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars to put in your lineup. They're versing Tyrod Taylor, who I don't know how he's still a starter in this league. His best years are behind him, in my opinion. He's a good backup, no doubt about it, but not to come into an opening week as your week one quarterback. I know Watson's had off-the-field issues, but still, I think Jacksonville takes advantage of Tyrod Taylor, and they make a few plays on defense and possibly could find the end zone as well. And I like them as a start this week. The next defense is the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers, they verse the New York Jets at home in week one here. And the Panthers, I think they can make a few plays on defense. The Jets here, a lot of young guys on the offense. Zach Wilson making his NFL debut at quarterback. And the Jets, I know they had a pretty decent offseason, but like I mentioned, a lot of youngsters. Offensive line is still a little bit questionable, in my opinion here. And I just think this Carolina Panther defense can make a few plays and make the rookie make a few mistakes here. Like I mentioned, they got Elijah Moore was a good draft pick on the offense. You got young guys in the backfield like P. Ryan, obviously Michael Carter, and also Tevin Coleman, who's the veteran, but he's always banged up. Denzel Mims. So the Jets, they got a few options, but a lot of young guys, new head coach who's defensive-minded in Salas as well. And I just think the Panthers, they could get a few sacks in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a pick six or a few interceptions as well versus Zach Wilson, even though the future could be bright for Zach Wilson, and the Jets have given him the keys already to the franchise quarterback position. But right now, it's week one. It's going to be a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters, and the Panthers are at home, and I think they make a few plays and have a good defensive week in the fifth and final defense. I would start this week's the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs, I drafted their defense in a lot of leagues. And let's be real here, the Chiefs, they're going to get off to a lot of big starts and early leads this season here versus teams where they're going to make teams on offense one-dimensional as the defense. And the Chiefs last season, they were pretty solid on defense, in my opinion, as well. And this week, they got a matchup versus the Cleveland Browns. I know Baker Mayfield had a pretty solid season last year. I know Odell Beckham is back in the mix this year as well, coming off injury. But I think in this ball game, the Chiefs, they're going to get off to a big start. They're going to get off to a good lead. And they're going to make them one-dimensional, where they're not going to use much of Nick Chubb in this ball game. If the Chiefs get off to a 10, 14-point lead early in the first, second quarter of this ball game. So right here, I think the Chiefs, they're going to make a few plays. I could see a pick six as well in this ball game. And this is where they start teeing off on quarterbacks once they're up and making plays. And I see the game script going this way. So I like the Chiefs as a defense to start. So that's a few defenses I look to start here in week one of the fantasy football season.